Hey, what's up, guys? We got ourselves some breaking news here. So, CNN has officially released the tapes that involved the conversation from Donald Trump with one of his staffers that was outlined in the indictment that was unsealed by special counsel Jack Smith against former President Donald Trump. Now, what's really interesting about this story and also kind of strange is everybody's kind of running around with this thing like we're learning something new, which is weird to me because this same conversation that got released by CNN was already outlined in the actual indictment. Matter of fact, I'll show you it right here. So CNN made a 2-minute video. They released it exclusively on their network. And basically, it just showed Trump on the phone talking about the Iran documents and the tapes and, well, not the tapes, I'm sorry, talking about the Iran document and some of the classified documents and explaining and basically admitting to certain things. We'll get into it in a minute, but I just want to show you guys something. So literally, the exact same 2-minute video that CNN posted is literally listed right here in the indictment. So this is the indictment from Special Counsel Jack Smith. If you scroll down to page 15, okay? So if you scroll down to page 15, which is right here, this conversation right here is exactly what CNN released in the tapes, which, again, I get it. The tapes, it's cool to get the audio, but it's just kind of weird that people are making this huge deal about it like we didn't already notice, as if this is new information. Like everybody's saying, like, oh, we got the tapes. Trump's cooked now. Oh, it's over. Oh, he's done. He's going to jail. It's over. And it's like, well, the special counsel already told you that they had tapes, and they outlined what the tape said. So I feel like this is kind of like just people repeating what we already knew. Like this indictment got released on like June 13th. And for me personally, I made a video on this. When I first saw the indictment, I thought in my head Trump was going to jail. So these new CNN tapes, that were released doesn't change my mind. It doesn't change how I feel. In my opinion, there's no point in tweeting about it or just reiterating what many of the Democrats are already saying, that Trump's going to jail. He's done with, he's over with, he's going to be behind bars, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, that was released a month ago in the indictment. It's right here. So literally all this you're seeing, we looked at some, this was him, this wasn't done by me, this was him, all sorts of stuff, pages long, look, the staffer, wait a minute, let's see here. This is literally what was in the CNN tapes, which is why I'm not going to play the CNN tapes in this video. You can go watch it if you want. It's literally all over the internet. It should be easy to find. But literally everything in that tape was said right here, literally. So it was already in the indictment. This is nothing new. This is old news. But the reason why I do want to talk about this is because I want to continue to reiterate my point. I personally do believe that Trump is going to jail. And I think that this is one of those situations where two things could be right at the same time. Yes, you guys are right. They are absolutely going after Donald Trump. There's no doubt about it. You can't deny it. I feel like any reasonable person, any person with just common sense who's not a complete partisan hack, like if you're this super crazy Biden-loving leftist, then yes, you're going to say that, Trump deserves to go to jail and nobody's being biased against him and blah, blah, blah. But it's clear as day. I mean, for crying out loud, Trump got sued in the E. Jean Carroll case. That case is a little iffy to me after reviewing some information. I think that case is a little iffy. The whole Stormy Daniels thing in New York, I think that case is a little iffy. I think the mistake that they made is they've gone after him so hard. It's made it pretty obvious that they're clearly out to get him. However, when I say two things could be right at the same time, I'm serious about that. Yes, they're trying to go after Trump. Yes, they obviously want him behind bars. They want him in jail. They do not want this man to ever become president again. And they're fighting tooth and nail to make sure that this guy never becomes president again. However, I still think that he's guilty of some things. I do not believe that Trump is completely squeaky clean and innocent of all the crimes that's being alleged here. I do think that some of the crimes are complete crap and he didn't do. However, I do think that there are some crimes that he did do. I kind of look at it like the same way as Andrew Tate. Not to compare them, but I kind of got to compare them. Andrew Tate is being charged with human trafficking and the R word and money laundering and all that. Now, do I think that Andrew Tate did the R word? No, I don't really believe that. But do I think that he's probably going to be guilty of human trafficking and money laundering? Yes, I do think that some of those charges he'll probably get convicted of. I think that he's not squeaky clean. I think he's probably done some criminal activity. I think Trump is in the same boat. There are two things that I absolutely believe Trump is probably going to get convicted of, and that is the classified documents thing, which is this such a situation right here with special counsel Jack Smith. And then the other one is the Georgia thing where he called the Secretary of State in Georgia and said, find me the votes and blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, guys. I truly believe that he did it. That's just my opinion. But here's the important part, though. It doesn't really matter how any of us think regarding Trump because guess what? He's up in the polls. It says right here, new article in The Hill, Trump expands lead over GOP field after the indictment. So all this indictment is doing in regards to his run for president is making him stronger. It's helping the story of this is the anti-establishment guy who is being painted as the villain. He's being gone after. It's a witch hunt. The deep state, the establishment Democrats, they're fighting tooth and nail to stop him. They're trying to sabotage him. You know, that whole narrative. People can say what they want about that narrative and that it's fake and it's not real and, you know, it's all a bunch of BS, but clearly it's resonating with half of the population because Trump is literally climbing in the polls every single time a new indictment comes out about this guy. It's actually pretty remarkable. So let me go ahead and read just a little bit of this article. It says right here, former President Trump expanded his lead over the GOP presidential field following his federal indictment earlier this month, with over half of Republican primary voters now saying in a survey that the former president will be their first choice for the 2024 nomination. The latest NBC News poll found that 51% of Republican primary voters said Trump will be their first pick for the 2024 Republican nomination, a 5-point jump from April. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is in second place, currently holding 22% of the votes, a 9-point drop for where he stood in April. So DeSantis is going lower in the polls and Trump is climbing up in the polls. Well, what does this tell us? Well, not only is Trump more popular, but I think that people are starting to resonate more with what's happening with Trump, Trump's message, and just kind of the overall ideology of how people feel about the way that this country is going. Because I know for me and personally, in my opinion, I think every single time that Ron DeSantis talks or does something, I think he's going to continue to go lower in the polls because after seeing him and hearing him talk, I'm sorry, guys, I do not think Ron DeSantis is a good presidential candidate. I agree that he's stronger than all the other weirdos in the field. I agree with that, but I don't think he's all that strong, at least as it relates to Trump. Obviously, if Trump weren't running and Ron DeSantis was running against everybody else, Ron DeSantis would mop the floor with all of them. But in regards to him and a head-to-head against Trump, I just think that Trump is the much better candidate. In my personal opinion, I think Ron DeSantis, in some aspects, is even more extreme than Donald Trump. I think Ron DeSantis is way too extreme, and I could definitely see why people would not really want to vote for that guy. It just, I don't know. There's a lot to say about that guy. So, yeah, that's really my opinions on the entire thing. Regardless of how anybody feels. Trump is clearly going to mop the floor with all the Republican nominees. The only way that they can stop him at this point is they're going to literally have to throw him in prison. That's the only way they can stop him. And I'm not even so sure that that would even work because from what I understand, a president could still be in office while in prison from what I understand, if I'm correct. That's what I was reading. So I don't know. This stuff gets tricky. Donald Trump is clearly going to win the Republican nomination. Obviously, more indictments are going to come out against him. I actually expect that. And yeah, we'll just see how things shape up. But as far as things are looking, I absolutely 100% believe that it's going to be Biden versus Trump once again. And I know nobody wants to see that. I don't want to see that. That sucks. But it is what it is. So yeah. Okay. There you guys have it. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I will see you guys in the next one.